Hi everyone, welcome back to my A-level biology lecture series. In this lesson, we will explore non-cyclic photophosphorylation. At the end of this lesson, you will be able to explain that in non-cyclic photophosphorylation, photosystem 1 and photosystem 2 are both involved. Photoexcitation of chlorophyll occurs. The oxygen evolving complex catalyzes the photolysis of water, as well as ATP and reduced NADP are synthesized. Let's get started. This diagram summarizes the reactions occurred in non-cyclic photophosphorylation. The idea of non-cyclic here, the non-cyclic actually describes the flow of the electrons. In this diagram, you can see that the electron starts with the photolysis of water, which produces electron, and these electrons received by the reaction center of photosystem 2, which is P680 or P680. And after that, this electron continue to flow through this phosphates, which is a primary electron acceptor. After that, transfer along electron transport chain and received by the reaction center of photosystem 1, which is P700. After that, this electron is excited, okay, and then pass through a series of electron carrier and eventually received by NADP, which is the final electron acceptor. If we look at the overall flow here, it begins with water and finally received by NADP. So that's why the process is termed as non-cyclic photophosphorylation, because the electron's donor here is water molecule and finally received by the final electron acceptor NADP. In order to explain the process in detail, I prefer to start it from photosystem 1. Let us look at the photosystem 1. So at photosystem 1, at the center here, we have the reaction center P700. So light energy is absorbed by accessory pigment or primary pigment. If the light energy is absorbed by the accessory pigment, this energy is transferred to the reaction center P700. When energy is sufficient, this energy is used to excite the electrons in the process known as photoexcitations of electrons. So basically, the electrons are removed from the chlorophyll A molecule. So this electron has high energy level, and this energy is received by the primary electron acceptor of photosystem 1. And this electron has high energy, and this electron will be transferred along a series of electron carrier. During this process, energy are released. So therefore, this electron can be accepted by NADP together with protons to form reduced NADP. In terms of the reactions, we can see that NADP actually combine with hydrogen atom. Why? Because protons accept electrons to form hydrogen atom and combine with NADP to form reduced NADP. And the enzyme that catalyzes this reaction is known as NADP reductase, because NADP is reduced to form reduced NADP. Okay, so now what actually happened? What is the consequence here? If you look at these, due to the photoexcitations of electron, now the reaction center P700 is oxidized. Basically, P700 lack of electrons. So the process can't continue without the replacement or electron replacement. So now we focus on photosystem 2. At the same time, okay, the accessory pigments from photosystem 2 absorb the light energy and pass this light energy to P680, which is the reaction center of photosystem 2. So when this energy is sufficient to excite the electrons through the process known as photoexcitation of electrons, so this electron now has high energy level. So this electron will be accepted by primary electron acceptor of photosystem 2. And this high energy electron is transferred along electron transport chain, similar to the one that we have learned previously in mitochondria, inner membrane. So this, when electron pass through this electron transport chain, energy is released. So this energy is used to produce ATP through a process known as chemiosmosis. And when this electron pass through the electron transport chain, eventually these electrons, okay, is received by P700 to replace the loss of the electrons during the reactions just now. So similarly, now P680, the reaction center is oxidized again because they lose electron. So in order to replace the electron loss, we need to depend on the next process known as photolysis of water, where the water molecule is split into hydrogen ions or protons, and also electrons with the release of oxygen as the byproduct. So once again, as a summary, non-cyclic photophosphorylation, the words non-cyclic refer to the electron flow. So the electron donor here is water, and the final electron acceptor is NADP, which after receiving the electrons and also proton, NADP is reduced to form reduced NADP. So in this non-cyclic photophosphorylation, two important chemical compounds are produced, which are required by Calvin cycle in light independent reaction. So these two compounds are ATP as well as reduced NADP. So the process starts, I always explain it, start from photosystem 1, easier to understand it this way. But when you describe the process, you can start with the photolysis of water and continue with the photosystem 2, after that photosystem 1, and eventually the final electron acceptor get involved here, and NADP accept the electrons, okay, to form reduced NADP. So in terms of explanation, I start with photosystem 1, as we know that photons, basically the light energy, is absorbed by pigment in the light harvesting complex of photosystem 1. And this energy is transferred to the reaction center, exciting electrons in P700, which is the reaction center of photosystem 1. So this photoexcited electron is transferred to the primary electron acceptor of photosystem 1, and they have high energy level. So as a result, in this case, the reaction center P700 become oxidized. Why? Because they lose an electron. So this photoexcited electron is passed along or is transferred along a series of electron carrier, okay, that form electron transport chain. And finally, enzyme NADP reductase catalyze the transfer of this electron to NADP together with the protons to form reduced NADP. But we have to understand that due to these reactions, a series of reactions, P700 now must get the replacements of electron. Okay, so from this process, reduced NADP is produced, and reduced NADP is used in the Calvin cycle later. So another photons at the same time concurrently absorbed by the pigment in the light harvesting complex of photosystem 2. So once again, this energy is transferred to the reaction center P680 or P680. So these photoexcited electrons is transferred to the primary electron acceptor, but now it's no longer from the photosystem 1, it's the primary electron acceptor from photosystem 2. So, yep, because of the loss of the electrons, P680 become oxidized. So the excited electron from photosystem 2 now travel down an electron transport chain toward PS1 or photosystem 1. So when they pass through a series of electron carrier, protons are pumped into thylakoid lumen, creating a steep protons gradient. And this gradient drives the ATP synthesis through a process known as chemiosmosis, catalyzed by the enzyme ATP synthase, which is quite similar to the ATP production through oxidative phosphorylations that we have learned in chapter 12. So this electron from photosystem 2 replace the photoexcited electron loss by by reaction center in photosystem 1. Okay. So now we know that P680, the reaction center of photosystem 2, is oxidized, lack of electron. So photolysis of water occurs in the thylakoid lumen, where the enzyme splits water molecule into electron, which will be received by the reaction center P680, protons, which contribute to the protons gradients in the thylakoid lumen. Recall back just now when the electron flow from the primary electron acceptor of photosystem 2 to the reaction center P700. Okay, so this electron pass through a series of electron carrier where the energy is released. So this energy is used to pump the protons from the stroma into the thylakoid space. So it contributes to the steep gradient. So in addition, during the photolysis of water, protons also are produced. It's also produced. So these protons further contribute to the to generate or to create a steep protons gradient. And as well as electron and protons, oxygen gas is produced, is released, and this oxygen gas is released as a byproduct. And with that, we have come to the end of this lesson. Hope you found it helpful and easy to follow. If you have any question, feel free to drop them in the comment sections. See you in the next lesson. Have a great day.